Quick update, I missed, so I forced everyone to do a lap, and now they hate me. And again, good evening everyone, it's Paulie. I hope you've all had a fantastic day. What have you been up to? Comment below, let us know. So as you can see, I've changed the background. I've moved back a little actually. Prior to this background here, I had the green screen, and well, now I've got an awesome urban background. One sec, have a look at there we go. And that's something that I've used in photo shoots in the past that I had lying around, so that's fantastic, works well. It feels like I'm in a different environment already. The only thing I've just realised though is my shirt clashes, or it doesn't contrast well with the background. It sort of is the same colour, so had I worn something I guess a bit brighter, maybe a red or an orange, it may have stood out a little bit more. Oh well. Also, time to celebrate. It's 14 vlogs in. These are little party poppers. Try and get this one in shot. Oh, there we go. Okay, so yeah, now there's mess everywhere. There we go. So this evening we're going to be talking about preparing for a film shoot. One of the major things that helps you when you're doing a film or a video or even just filming gameplay is preparing as much as possible. Now, apart from the obvious, of course, of getting as much information from the client or customer or whoever it is you're filming with, it's also about getting your assets and just checking and ticking all the boxes and crossing all the T's and dotting all the I's. So when you're going for a basketball, say a basketball shoot, which I'll post an example of below, you want to try and think about, you know, what the customer wants, so if they can send you an example, and then from that you can sort of determine what you may need. So for example, with a basketball shoot, you know, you'll need the logos of the teams in advance, and preferably transparent, so that's a PNG format file. You want any sponsors or any other brands, and you want to make sure you have the most recent version of that logo. You'd hate to have to post a video, and it's happened to me on one or two occasions where the risk is that you could damage the brand, which as an artist you need to understand they've worked a lot, they've worked, you know, countless hours, spent hundreds of thousands of dollars designing a logo, building up a brand and the image of the brand to the public, and for an old logo to resurface on a video, it's not good. So you always want to make sure you've got the latest logo, all the sponsor logos, and I mean, even before you go to shoot, you want to go check out the location. Find out what the rules are on shoot and filming there, because sometimes, depending on the premises, if it's not private, if it's a public owned space, you will need approval to film, especially if it's something that involves a lot of people, because their privacy is the main concern, not just of the operators, but obviously of their sponsors as well. So you want to make sure you've got the all clear for that, and of course you can, I guess, reduce some of your liability by informing customers on your website, or whoever's giving you the filming job. Get them to mention it. Hey, we'll have a film crew there. Is everyone okay with being filmed? And that way you've sort of cleared yourself, and you won't get into any trouble later on down the track, or be asked to take down the video, which, you know, you don't ever want to do, because then you can't show your work. Now once you go to the location and you're scouting, you want to check for lighting. If you're filming indoors and they've just got regular lighting, you may need some more depending on the situation. If you're doing something a bit more cinematic, or a presentation, or there's like a school address in a hall, you want to make sure that the subjects on the stage are well lit. Doesn't matter so much about the audience, but maybe some extra lighting on those people. But in a sports situation, normally if your camera's got some low ISO settings, hello, hey, no, let me just wave back. Sorry, I've got to wave back to someone. Thank you very much for watching. So yeah, you want to check out for lighting, and then of course audio. So once again, if you're filming sports, audio isn't so much of a thing unless there's some sort of presentation, in which case you might want a mic pack or something. But definitely in a presentation or some sort of function, if people are getting in front of a stage, you definitely want a secondary mic up there to get clean audio. So while they may have a PA system, it may be a mess about trying to hook up audio to it, and you can't rely on the audio from your camera always to get clean audio. So audio, and of course the other thing, once you've got everything, is sort of get an idea of, I guess, how you're going to put the film together, what sort of angles you can get. So if it's a presentation and there's going to be people there, can you be up the back? Same with sports. While in some sports it's good to be up close, other sports it may be beneficial to be further back to get more of the action, so you're not panning and spinning too much. Because I mean, if you've ever watched those early GoPro videos, it can be a bit nauseating to the audience. So you want to make sure you've got nice slow camera movements, not too much zooming, as little movement as possible. Now once you have checked all that out, you of course want to download all those, get all those ready, and of course prepare as much of them as possible in advance. You may have seen my behind the scenes with the AUBA, and in that I detail how I film 3-4 hours of gameplay and have it uploaded within a couple of hours, by getting the sponsor segments ready, the animations ready, the team artwork ready, all that sort of stuff just in advance allows me to then get it ready to publish sooner. It's the little things when you're, I guess, on a deadline that can slow you down, and that preparing that prior is a huge help, and takes off a lot of stress. When you don't have as much to do, when you're on a deadline, you're more focused on the task, you're less likely to make a mistake. That's another thing, double check everything with spelling. Get someone else to watch it, because there have been 1 or 2 occasions where I've had spelling mistakes left in videos. Now once you've got all those assets ready, you want to check your equipment, test it. Even if you go down for a location to scout the location, test your equipment, see what it's like to film there. Make sure you've got enough memory cards and they can store enough, a backup memory card, backup batteries. Try and have as much backup equipment as you can. Even get a second camera if need be, because it always happens on the day that you've got your event. Any apps for editing videos? Yes, if you're editing on, I guess, iPhone, it would be the Adobe, not Spark, Adobe Rush. And if you're editing on PC, a good free one is GoPro Studio, or I think it's called GoPro. And of course, if you're on an iPhone, I would suggest iMovie. Now, if you're a bit more serious into your editing, then, and you're on a mobile device, maybe look at, I mean, really, if you're doing more serious editing, you do want a desktop. But there's some great free software out there. Once again, the GoPro software, Apple iMovie for Apple. I will leave some notes about that, so just drop a comment below and I'll get back to you. Let me know what device you'll be using, and I can help you with that. And if you've got like a GoPro or a camera already, let us know. That way I'll know what software is good for you. Okay, now back onto equipment. Make sure it's all tested and checked. Make sure your all assets are ready. Now, day of filming, of course, arrive early. Get as much B-roll as you can. Take your time if you're ever changing memory cards or batteries. You don't want a process that maybe corrupts a file or causes an issue. So just take your time in doing that and plan out, if you know your battery lasts for an hour, when can you change it? If it's a 60-minute game, it's not going to last the full 60 minutes. You'll change it at half time because you get a break. Same with speeches, and even then let the customers know it, because you can schedule in to make those changes to make sure you get everything. You'd hate for them to continue talking or presenting and you miss it because you're changing a battery or a SD card, which has happened to me, so don't let it happen to you. Now, when you're editing, first thing you do, as soon as you get home from filming the event, don't even start to edit your software, don't do anything else. As soon as you get home, back up your footage. Back it up onto a separate hard drive, not just onto your computer, onto a separate hard drive. I haven't had it happen to me, but I've heard it happen to other photographers. They gave me this advice, and while I haven't had an issue, I could see how it could destroy your business. If you've filmed a wedding and the software's corrupted because you haven't backed it up, or something's happened to your computer during the process, how do you explain that to the customers? And I wouldn't want to be in that position. I know you wouldn't want to be in that position either. So always back it up, and then of course, if it's on a deadline, they may require a draft first before you approve it. So you've got all those assets ready. You can knock that together. You should have all your music ready. Of course, licensed free and cleared. Now that's the thing. If a customer wants a certain song, you do need to explain to them about licensing, because you don't want your video of theirs to have their page taken down. I've seen that happen to other creators. It's embarrassing. You know, you may not get another job with them, but you just got to be firm with them and go, hey, listen, licensing is serious. You either have to pay for this or we can find an alternative. And quite often the alternative is better than what they want, because as a creator, you sort of know what works. So you can sort of go, if they like a certain style, you can find something that may suit the edit that you're doing. So that can be a benefit by getting non-licensed, license-free music. Now, once you've done that, of course, make sure that it's able to be published in a format suitable for the client or the customer, or if you're doing it. So once again, what platform is it going on? Normally it's going to be 16 by 9. If not, then it's going to be more difficult doing it on IG and 9 by 6. Also try and give them as much artwork as you can from the event. So thumbnails, I guess any stills or anything that can help them when they're republishing the video on their platforms. Being a creator, you should know what sort of, hey Tyrone, hello. Sorry, so yeah, you want to have as much of that extra content available for them. If you've got any B-roll, send it to them. I try to do at least, you know, I do the main edit, but if there's some really good footage, I like to give the customers a second small edit of whatever it may be, whether it's something that went wrong, or people giving high fives at a basketball game, or a crowd reaction, or something that maybe isn't suited for the main video. I'll give them a B-roll, and they don't have to upload it, but at least they've got it. And that's the same with thumbnails. If you can provide any descriptions or titles that are SEO rich, if they're not too up to date on SEO and what might work. Yeah, of course, get them to reshare, make sure they know how to tag you, and I guess cross promote you as well. And of course, you can then reshare from their page. One thing which I haven't done, which probably I would advise, is if you can get references. I've been very fortunate in the fact that I've had a lot of endorsements from existing customers, which has led to ongoing and further work. But I definitely do wish I had gotten written references, and I guess I will at some stage, because that's really good for promoting yourself, I guess, to other people as well, if they're not within the market that you're sort of servicing at the moment, if you want to go for something bigger. And then of course you want to get customer feedback. So while you may have finished the job, ask the customer what you could have done better, and actually do this throughout the process. I've found that the customer often knows their market really well, in the sense they know what they like and what they don't like. So you need to really quiz them about that and get that information, because that will help make the best video. You may have a creative image, but that may not meet the needs of the customer, may not reach the most people. And if it's for social media and promotion, you know, they'll want to get more sponsors and grow. So you want it to work, and getting that customer feedback is useful for the video. It makes the best video. It's useful for you, because you then learn a lot about that market. And I guess also it helps you grow as a creator. So yeah, I'll post some behind the scenes of some of the jobs that I've done with Full Court Fitness. Shout out to Adam Westerhout. And also the AUBA back in January. You'll see I was very frantic trying to edit everything, film, take photographs, and it's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun. It's a great workout too. So that's pretty much how planning can help with your shoot, some tips and things you can do. And apart from that, I think that's it, guys. Thank you once again for joining me. I appreciate all your support. Everyone that's commented below, I will get back to you in messages, and I'll see you all tomorrow night. Peace out.